Right, yeah, and stuff, but you know.
I'm going to go ahead and get started. I didn't know there was a moderator or not, so this is my first time at this conference, so it's great to see it's a great crowd. I'm Alice Wilson. I'm with the City of New Bern, and I was asked to come and present on a project that we've been working on for a long time and finally seeing the fruits of our labor, if you will. So my title of my thing is Going from Napkin to Network, and you'll understand as we're going on. So kind of a little history. Back in 2000, we had the U.S. Census, and we challenged the counts that we got. I just started work there. I'm the GIS coordinator. I'm sorry, I should have used that. When we started challenging the counts, and when we challenged, we actually lost more people. So we said, well, we're not going to do that anymore. So back in 2004, 2005, as the annual estimates come out, they had us actually losing 200 or 300 people, and we were showing that according to our GIS, that we were getting in 500 or more permits for new housing. So we're like, why are we building housing and we're losing people? It doesn't make sense. So we went to the census and we went to the state demographer to challenge them, and they said the only thing that we could do is ask for a recount that we would have to pay for, and that would be about $500,000, or we could complete this package and we're about that big. And they wanted to know information that kind of supported our growth, such as some other information other than demographics. So the information they were looking for were like permits, utility locations, that kind of stuff. They also wanted to look at demolition certificates, occupancy, that kind of information. So I went to inspections and I said, okay, I knew I had building permits and that was all I had. I said, what are you guys doing? And they're saying, well, we send this information in monthly to the Census Bureau. We're sending in permits. And I'm like, can't be right. And they're saying we're losing population. So I said, let me see what you got on demolitions. So one of the building and I are going to have issues. Brought out a napkin, the yellow piece of paper that really is a napkin. She was tracking all the demos for 2005, and then for 2006 she had a little piece of paper that she had on her post-it board, and that you couldn't read it any better than you can here. So that was what I had to start with. So late 2006, the director and I sat down and said we need to do something a little better than this napkin kind of stuff. So they went, without asking me or asking for my input or whatever, I guess, but they went with this kind of a low-end company out of Georgia. It was a mom-and-pop kind of process. They couldn't access any of my GIS data. And so a lot of the property ownership was out of date. Also, a lot of inspections like doing things the old way, so they still didn't want to get rid of a lot of paper that they were using. They still were sending out inspectors and they had a calendar that they wrote down inspections and stuff. So we kind of went with that for the last several years. And in 2012, we had a new planning director, a new manager came on board, and they had new desires to get tech savvy. So our options are limited. We went out and said we had just a few funds that we were, this thing is really be driving crazy. It's got its own mind. We wanted something that was user-friendly. Yeah. Man. User-friendly. And we wanted to be able to manage ourselves. We wanted to be able to make changes as fees changed, as the users came on board. We wanted to make it expandable as other departments came on board. And most important for me, I wanted to be able to incorporate our GIS data backwards and forward. So we chose NCLGISA. I'm going to drink a glass of water because my allergies are driving me crazy. We went with them, we looked at 3 different companies. We kind of narrowed down the process, and NCLGISA seemed to have everything that we wanted. And when we first got with them, they were just NCLGISA by themselves, and they eventually merged with Tyler Technologies, which kind of presented some issues for us because there were a lot of security issues that we had to deal with. But it met all our needs. Plus, it had a mobile piece, and it was available 24/7, and we were working on a pay online process. Has searching capabilities, so you can search for an address or property by just typing in the information, or we can click on the GIS map, which I'll show you in just a second. You can, all this information is pulled down information. They don't have to type in a whole lot of information or whatever. They just click and point. Research results tool. All this information on top. As soon as we click for an address or whatever, you can search by parcel, by address. You can look at zoning information. Here's an example of the contacts, and this tells you what contractors are working on that project. And attached to that, you can see on the left-hand side, there's like all kind of, you can attach records like his building permit, what, like you have an inspector that will come in, or a contractor that will come in and say, I can do electrical work, well, he's not really allowed to do electrical work. Sorry. Gotta love technology, right? So each permit can be sorted and filtered. No more napkins. I can certainly read this. You can choose by date, permit type, filter. All those little squiggly things by each field is a filter that you can set up. You can also track status, and you can also save your searches. So if there's a certain project that you want to keep track of, you can save that. We've already kind of looked at that. So the results tool, I did a search. And like I said, you've got documents that you can get the detailed information. You can also, this thing matters. Okay. And you can also track on the very bottom, I don't know if you can see or not, it tells you who was the last person that entered in the information and when they entered that information. All right. My favorite part is the GIS map. So this is just so you know, on the top you can see the GIS tab. We set this up, this is pulling from our server. It's a live service, so this parcel and other information gets updated. It's pulling live information every night at midnight. It reboots itself. And it has different layers that you can turn on and turn off. So that, it also has an embedded Google Street View, which is nice, so that they can look at make sure they're at the right house. Already done all that. So for example, 804 Beaver Circle, they wanted a permit, so you just type in You can also certify address, parcel, or ownership. Sometimes we have to do a buffer for notification. You can do click on that tool. And you can create a mailing list or create a record. You can also export it. In creating a permit, it automatically does a permit. It should have showed you on the last slide. So here at the bottom it says create a record, and I can choose what kind of record do I want to permit, inspection, application, project, whatever. And then you just click on it. And so I said I wanted to permit, it automatically auto-populates all this information is pulled from the tax information. And if I can stay still for a second. You can see at the top there's a red circle. There's like a fail-safe so that you can't go to the next step unless you put in all the information that you need to. And all of it is pulled down kind of stuff, so again, it's very user-friendly. So we can attach documents if there's information that we need to, like site plans or whatever, we can attach that. It keeps a history of the site address. It's important for other departments to know the status so that if, let's say, water and sewer has a problem with the size of pipe, they can kind of track was that replaced and comments noted. And we're working on a citizen developer to have access to this information as well. So you can also do a workflow, and it kind of steps each inspector or planner, whoever's got a project in there, it tells them, and they have to check off that that process has been done. It's gone through a group review. It's been, you can see at the bottom, you can add steps or reorder their workflow if something comes up. It reports that it's built in, it self-populates itself. Some steps are required before moving to the next stage, and they'll pop up red in red letters that you can't go to the next step because you haven't done this. It makes it very easy to make sure that we're getting everything done that we need to do. It has a dashboard piece to it so that you can kind of track the numbers of permits that we've been issuing. You can sort by date, by whoever's working on the project. And on the right-hand kind of side, you can see, I've just pulled up Kurt Wells. You can see a list of all his cases. If I just want to filter, if I just want to see what's been denied or approved or whatever, I can sort it just click that. Very user-friendly. I can manage my reviews. So let's say I went out in the field today and I checked on 5 different sites. I can come in here and pull up. Again, I use Kurt Wells that are in review, and I can just sort by the date, choose today's date. And on the very bottom, it's kind of hard to see, but it says bulk update. I can click on that. I've got a screenshot of that. And it'll pull up just those reports that I can check with one click instead of having to pull up individual reports. So here you can see I've checked reports that I've done, and then I can do the bulk. So this screen will come up, and I can tell it whatever I want, if I change the status or whatever. Then we have a cashier piece, which makes it nice. We can put the square footage of the project for like a house. A new house has a certain fee based on square footage. So you can see that kind of in the center there, 840 square feet. It automatically calculates the fees. It tracks all that information. It has at the bottom down there who's responsible for the fees and whether or not they've been paid. So it tracks all that kind of stuff. At the bottom it says they can either pay now or bill with invoice. And when they click on that, you can actually get the invoice up here. You can print it out. And the nice part of it, you can do it out in the field, or you don't have to make them come back into the office to do that. So you can also remember my napkin. I don't have to go ask inspections for their napkin or their scrap piece of paper. I can come in here and choose the type of permit that I'm looking for, and I can easily do a report. And then I thought I could show it up here at the top. I can export it either to a PDF or Excel spreadsheet. So some added bonuses. We've got a mobile piece. We have a piece called IG Enforce and IG Inspect, which allows our guys to go out with an iPad do work out in the field, so, which is really nice for our nuisance abatement. If you're going down the street, you see something like immediate lot or something that's going on, it's not, you can go ahead and print out, you've got built-in reports, print out a report and leave it there at the house. You don't have to come back to the office, type up a report and send it through, people have it right in there. And you can put all that information inside the system. Certificates and sign off, so the same thing for a developer. If our inspector goes out in the field and he sees that, like, inspects a plumbing system and it's okay, he doesn't have to come back and make the developer come back and get a copy of the certificate. He can do it right there in the field. And again, we're working on the online 24/7. So coming soon, we're trying to set it up so that developers and builders can track all their projects just like the inspectors can, and pay for their plans and stuff totally online. They can do it 24/7. We're also working on finalizing all the departments that are in the development review process and have access to everything. So, any questions that you might have? It always makes sense what we do. But we love this. I mean, you can imagine going from a paper napkin, at least I will. It was really hard to sell to the inspections department. They've been there for a long time, and they're like, we like the way we do it kind of thing. But when we showed them, and InterGov came down for about a week and a half and sat with them in one of our rooms and just worked with them, and they love it. They love the iPads and stuff. Being able to do everything right with them, and having access. I think the biggest thing is they love having access to maps so they can make sure where they're at and where they're right. So, anyway, it was, I want to say it was like $45,000 to get everything going, and then we're letting them manage it for us to start off, and it's $15,000 a year. So,
Pretty reasonable. That based on the population or based on actually?
No, it was just a set fee.
Okay.
I wish it was. Any other questions?